All right, so let's talk about what college really costs. I like to think of college costs like an iceberg. The part everyone sees, tuition and fees, is just the tip. But there's a whole lot more lurking beneath the surface that can sink your financial ship if you're not prepared. So, when most families think about college costs, they focus almost exclusively on tuition. I can't tell you how many times I've heard parents say the tuition of state university is $15,000, so that's what we need to save. But that's like budgeting for a house by only considering the mortgage and ignoring the property taxes, utilities, and maintenance. Let's break down the full picture. College costs fall into two main categories: direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are what you actually get billed for by the college: tuition, mandatory fees, which can be substantial, room and board if you're going to live on campus. Here's what a typical college bill might look like. Are you noticing all the fees beyond tuition? Technology fees, recreation center fees, health center fees? These can add up to thousands of dollars per year. I worked with a family last year whose mandatory fees at a public university added up to over $3,500 annually. That's not part of tuition, but you absolutely have to pay it. Now, for the indirect costs, these don't show up on your college bill, but they're very real expenses. Books and supplies. Listen, you're going to have to budget $500 to $800 per semester, more for certain majors. Even with the advent of digital books, sometimes you can get them a little cheaper by renting them, but you want to make sure that you have budgeted enough money so that you're not going to classes without books. Transportation. From gas and parking to flights home for the holidays. These are things that the parents and kids are going to want to do. Personal expenses. Everything from laundry detergent to coffee to having a night out with friends over pizza. Technology. Most students will need a laptop and software. And I'll throw in health insurance there if you're not covered under a parent's plan. Let me give you a real-world example. Meet Maya, a freshman at a state university about 200 miles from home. Her tuition is $10,000 per year, and room and board is $12,000. But Maya also spends about $1,200 on books and supplies, $800 on transportation, including 3 trips home, $1,800 on personal expenses, which is only about $50 a week for 36 weeks, and $500 on technology, prorating the cost of her laptop. That's an additional $4,300 beyond what shows up on our college bill, and that's actually on the conservative side. Now here's where it gets interesting. The total cost of attendance, direct plus indirect costs, is what financial aid is based on, not just tuition. This is actually good news for you. Financial aid can help cover all of these costs, not just tuition. Let me show you where to find this information. Every college is required to publish their estimated cost of attendance, or COA. Let's look at a few examples. Now here's a snapshot of what you might expect at different types of institutions. Public in-state universities typically run between $25,000 and $30,000 per year for the total cost of attendance. Public out-of-state jumps to $40,000 to $50,000. And private colleges can range from $55,000 to over $80,000 per year, or even higher. But, and this is crucial, almost nobody pays the full sticker price, which brings me to one of the most important concepts in college financing: the difference between the sticker price and the net price. All right, the sticker price is the published total cost. The net price is what you'll actually pay after grants and scholarships are applied. It's like the difference between the MSRP on a car and what you'll actually negotiate to pay. Check this out. School A has a sticker price of $50,000, but offers a $30,000 scholarship. School B costs $30,000, but only offers a $10,000 scholarship. Both end up costing your family $20,000 out of pocket. This is why focusing solely on low tuition schools can actually cost you money. I worked with a student named Jason who was set on going to the state university because the tuition was lower than the private colleges he was considering. But when the financial aid offers came in, that expensive private college ended up costing his family $5,000 less per year because of their generous scholarship program. I've created a worksheet to help you estimate and compare total costs across different schools. It'll be available for download so that you can print it out and use it. Now, before we move on to how the FAFSA determines your eligibility or financial aid, let me quickly dispel some common myths about college costs. Myth number 1. Public universities are always cheaper than private ones. The reality, after financial aid, private colleges can sometimes be less expensive. Myth number 2. Living off campus saves you money. The reality, sometimes, but not always, especially in high-cost cities. And myth number 3, working full-time while in school will keep you debt-free. The reality, working too many hours often extends time to graduation, which can cost you more in the long run. The big takeaway here is that understanding the true cost of college requires looking beyond tuition. The most expensive school on paper might end up being the most affordable after financial aid, and being strategic about where you apply. So, now that we understand what college actually costs, let's talk about how to use the FAFSA to help pay for it.